I feel like we take things and we run with them, and we don't take the time to think about them ourselves. Some people are happy being very traditional in the way the Bible is written, and some people realize why that's not for them, but yet they choose to stay in these situations because of that. If you are someone who believes, and this goes for any religion really, not just the Bible, if you feel like you're not in the right religion, house, marriage, space of mind, and you feel like you're not appreciated, and you can't even find that space to, I guess I really should say you don't even make space to appreciate yourself, then it really is a good idea to reevaluate your life, because this is yours and no one else's. It doesn't matter what happens. God is always supporting you, and He wants you to be happy. That's what spirituality is really in a nutshell. It's not about religion, it's about spirituality. And you'll hear that being said a lot too. That's where I got it from, because I'm like, that just makes the most absolute sense, because that was something that we pick up on when we're learning new things too. And spirituality, I feel like I'll have to make another video on like what it truly is and what it means. However, when it comes down to it, it really is about what is best for you as a singular person, and not necessarily what is best for everyone else, because what is best for you is best for everyone else. And anyone that says otherwise is trying to keep you under their thumb. So I just wanted to say that, because I've really been paying attention to these thoughts that I've been having about how, because the book of Judges really, like, there's a lot of books in this book that make you think. It's supposed to make you think. That's why we study it, so that we know what we're talking about when we're speaking about it, because it just makes sense. Also, like I said, my soul is from there. Mary is from there, not his mama. But at the same time, I had to read the book probably 3 good times to even really figure out who I am. Like, not who I am, it was clicking into place in general. But like reading the book, there ain't nothing even about her. Like, and there's 3 different versions of the same story in here in the New Testament. And I really think that's interesting. I feel like they didn't really want to give women too much power, so they translated it however which way that it was going to be translated. That's why people complain about there being multiple versions of the Bible, which are all very true. But since this is the most common one, I think it's funny. But I believe God did that on purpose, because He knew what He was doing. He knew what He wanted to do. He knew that He was going to bring this whole situation back in the future. So, yeah. I just think it's very interesting, because I can think back to that day, and I can think of how much pain I was in. I could think of how I could think of how unhappy I really was about the man that I love being killed on a cross. And I can feel all these things, and I can understand it, and I can go back to it. I can't see everything, but it's like I feel it and I understand it. And so when I read it, and the fact that they like kind of cut out a lot of what our involvement was in it, it breaks my heart, because I'm like, we were there too. His mom was even there too. We were, we were the two women that loved him so much, and we were there, and she gets labeled as the other Mary. Me and his mom didn't really get along like that, though. That's too accurate. But we understand that we shared that such an important moments in time, because it happened different ways, because each reality is real. When you read a book, it's real, it happened. When you watch a movie, it happened. When you have a dream or a premonition, it happened. It happened in another parallel universe, it happened. So that is why we're so wise in certain ways, is because we, like I said, have been reborn over and over again, but in different versions of this earth. This is the end all be all type of earth, as if like to come here and to come into our power and to use them so we can learn our lessons. This is our last go around here, and then from there we'll see what happens for everyone else. But me personally, I do not plan on coming back here anymore. And of course, we've been to other places in general, like anime. I have such a strong connection with anime. There's just, I would have never, I believe that my life would not be so colorful if I didn't watch anime the way that I do. Anime really is how these worlds are supposed to be. They say this world is closer to Harry Potter. It's supposed to be closer to how Harry Potter is here, and it's very true. Like, you just don't know what's gonna happen. And so that being said, everything that happened on that day, I really hate that it got wiped out in the most common version of the Bible, simply because they wanted to really make it all about Jesus, which is fine. But they could have made it more about love in general. Because a lot of the time, if you really read it, they're like, I did this for you, so you have to love me. And that's kind of how it was in the Bible. That is straight up masculine energy. I did this for you, so you have to love me. Even God said that same thing. And what God is teaching me in general is to love him in general, so that we may receive these things, not him trying to prove that he loves me by giving me these things. And that understanding, it could be in the Bible somewhere. I'm sure it is. You see it a lot too. People that fear the Lord in general. But like, this was not God's origin, but this was his origin of human. Like, understanding that, like, he will have to prove to people that he is God, because he didn't create human to even really know who God was other than him. But you know, she ate the fruit, he ate the fruit, they ate it, and that's what happened. And I'm personally, since I'm not, you know, back then like that, I don't think that I would want to uneat the fruit, to be honest. And so that is also what marijuana is. It's kind of like the forbidden fruit for us now, but it is the tree of knowledge. It helps us to open those gates to God that we don't normally know how to access the way that everyone else can access. Everybody's different. Everybody has different gifts, but we all have gifts. We all have different gifts. We all have the same types of gifts. We are all psychic. But if you're not really connected to that idea and you're more afraid of it than anything, it reflects back as such, because you're giving it bad intention. You're looking down on it. Bet you there's a lot of people that are very religious that they don't like to acknowledge the fact that they have strange powers. Strange to them. So I'm ready for the world to change for the better. So I'm going to keep speaking my truth. And it really is our truth. It is called the truth of the all for a reason. Your truth fits into my truth so completely, but my truth may not, always fit with yours. It depends on who you are and how open you are into your world. If you accept it, then it'll be easier. But everybody came from different things, like Isis, Buddha. I wonder if he got reincarnated too. I don't see why not. I feel like all of the ascended masters are really here today, to be honest. I feel like they're all here right now. And those came from, different religions, different books in general, different spaces of time, but they are just as powerful and just as important as me and Jesus. So I'm excited to see how that opens up in the future. There's a lot of people that have ties to Egypt as well. And I personally am learning what I learn about stuff. I am meant to study different religions and stuff, but I am at the forefront a Christian, but not with that label. I'm a spiritual for that reason, because most Christians wouldn't even open a book by something else. So I encourage people to not belittle their own learning abilities. I think I'm done with this video because I want to eat, and I wanted to film that. So I hope we stirred your mind a lot. I hope to trigger you into understanding more about yourself. And when I do say trigger, I really do mean trigger. That's what we're here to do. We trigger people all the time. Literally, people walking into my life is a trigger. Me walking into their life is a trigger. Just like accept that and use it for your benefit instead of, making it something that is about someone being demonic or anything like that. So just make sure that if you're going to demonize everything that we say, that you do it for your own benefit and growth. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being that person. Like I said, my mom and my dad don't like this, and that's okay. But I do think it's funny that they see me growing, and they see it being God himself, and they can see that I'm supported. And you know what they have to say that? Yeah, because I prayed to God that he would take care of you. Yeah, because I gave you to God. Yeah, because I did this. And I'm just like, I was born for this, and you're against everything that we're doing right now. And you have the audacity to tell me that it's because you did something. I like to acknowledge when people do things because it's true, but I wouldn't have came to God himself if he hadn't put so many things in my life to make me feel like I needed to come to him. God did that. And at the same time, we kept going. So, but at the same time, I don't belittle the fact that, their story happened the way it did. And if my dad, if my biological father was in my world, it would not be the same as, that's a shame how when you go through so many things in your life and then you don't know what to even call your family. Like I could say my dad, but I call God my dad more than I would say that I call my dad at this point, simply because of these things. Like they literally shunned me in their own way, but I'm not upset with them. It's just, it's not my fault if I feel differently towards you because of that. I tried to be very, very understanding and loving towards you, and I still feel that same energy, but God trumped everybody. So like, I can't really say that I feel like I need parents anymore. Interesting. Stop flying on Pikachu. He's beautiful. He's a model. His model. Stay there. There's a tree on you. Something. But yeah. So yeah, if you were wondering why when you smoke marijuana you get like bad dreams and hallucinations and it just gets bad. One, it could specifically not be for you. So take that into account. Because some people don't need to be a part of that whatsoever. Know yourself and learn yourself. Also, if you're afraid of it and you go in and you're probably smoking with people that are not necessarily the best influences for you, you're not in a good environment, um, cool vibes only, then you will more than likely not be smoking weed that is geared towards good energy, good intentions, because people like to get weed for different reasons, like, oh, I want to get fucked up, or I don't want to remember nothing. Escapism. If you're going in for escapism, you are going to get a lot of different variations of what's happening. You're not in control of that whatsoever. But if you go in with good intentions, not only will you be more more open to receiving love from that plant and knowledge, but you'll also attract strains towards you that are more geared towards productivity and happiness for you, like your ideal strain. Like, I like Sunset Sherbet. I like Out of This World, and I would smoke Out of This World when I was on. It was like the precipice of the journey where like we were about to like move out and everything like that, but we didn't know how things were going yet, and we smoked that one, and we were like it gave us really good ideas. Not only that, not like really just giving us good ideas, but like it really opened up our mind to understanding like why we were understanding these things the way we were understanding them. Like there was so much clarity that came from that. And being high and most high should always be separated in your understanding. You can mix them as much as you want to, but know that you do not receive knowledge from the tree of knowledge. You receive knowledge from God giving you that knowledge through the tree of knowledge. That's the higher power. So when you understand that, you're able to gain more wisdom from it instead of it just being like, oh, I'm the smartest when I'm high and stuff like that. And it's like you can be high on life. Straight up, that is a thing. And what is the other one? Forbidden fruit, which, think about it, the forbidden fruit, once I smoked that one good time, the first time, and it was so different in how my world looked. I was more political. I was more like straight to the point, like very, very Sagittarius, like very straight to the point. There was no bubbliness or anything. I just felt like I was just learning so much more political things because I wanted to have political talks. And this was with my boyfriend. And so like we would talk about things like that because we can talk about anything. And we were just learning together. But I noticed the difference in it. And then when I smoked it again, like later on after I knew, because I tried to stay away from that one, when after I did that one, because I didn't like that. I just don't like feeling that way. I like my colors in my world, but it wasn't bland, but it was definitely like more like matter of fact. And so when we smoked the forbidden fruit again, we knew what we were getting into, so we were able to understand what it was doing for us, why we liked it, and why, like, if we do smoke it again, why it won't be the same and whatnot. And also, I believe the first time that I actually went through a overstimulated situation where God was just like, all right, you like to play with the big boys, and we know that you're hard and stuff, but remember that that's not for you now. It's time to learn where your limits are. Because I always push myself to the limits in different ways. And so to this day, I don't really do dabs either. But I don't dislike dabs. I just don't like them at all much compared to smoking actual herb flowers and the smell of it, the way it hits different and stuff like that. But like I'll dab. I'm perfectly fine with that. But not if I have choices. And like I'll hit it like once or something. But like this time it was like a big one. And it was my first time dabbing. And so I didn't know that it would hit different than if you smoked out of like regular tree out of a bong. And so Janae Aiko's overstimulated happened. started playing when I got home. And I was just like lying down, and God really kept me safe because he knew that, like, when that was forbidden, it had forbidden fruit wax in it, I believe. Yeah. And I thought that was hilarious in thinking back to it, because I don't think I remembered that beforehand. And I think it's funny because that was the time where I really started to understand that I am not only human, but I'm also, I should, that was when that was when I really started taking better care of myself, and like being like, okay, this is, I don't always have to outdo everybody, because I don't always try to outdo everybody. I just naturally outdo everybody in that way when it comes to like smoking or something I'm good at, usually things that I'm really good at. And so I was just like, that's interesting. That was the first time, like, life lesson where it's like, okay, we're turning your life around now, and we're showing you exactly where you don't like to be, because you've never had this experience before. You're usually really good at handling things, and it's because we help you. As someone that was in a lower vibration as opposed to now, because I was definitely higher vibrational at that point, but definitely as compared to now, we put ourselves in situations where it's like, okay, you're really trying to be a part of that. And it wasn't even a bad situation, but the energy of the situation, like, now that I know the person a lot better, um, they never really truly had any good intentions towards me, and they were always talking out of their ass. But they loved my boyfriend. Everybody loves Georgie so much that they hate me because they know that I'm perfect for him. If that doesn't sound like Jesus, I cannot. Anyway. All right. I'm trying to see if I have anything else to say. I don't think I do. Good.